You have seen it before. Not once, not twice, many times now. The same door, the same hallway, the same light pressing through from the other side. You wake up and it is gone, but the feeling stays. That particular weight, sitting somewhere between your chest and your throat. Familiar in a way you cannot place. Like something you once knew the name of, and then forgot. Or maybe were never meant to remember yet. You have tried to explain it to yourself, mostly, because explaining it to someone else felt impossible. How do you describe a feeling that has no edges, that is not quite hope and not quite grief, but carries something of both? You have sat with that feeling in the early morning before the noise of the day began, in that thin, quiet hour when everything is still deciding what it will be, and the dream is still close enough to touch. That is not an accident. That hour was chosen. That particular stillness was arranged, so that when the feeling arrived, there would be space enough for it to land fully. And you would not brush it off before it finished saying what it came to say. That dream did not come from nowhere. Nothing that returns that many times comes from nowhere. Pay attention not to what you see in it, but to the fact that it keeps coming back. Something is trying to reach you, and it has been patient about it. More patient than you have been with yourself. Think about how many times you have dismissed it, called it the mind doing what minds do, turned it over briefly and then set it down because the day required something else from you, and still it returned. The same door, the same hallway, the same light, waiting, like it knew you would eventually stop long enough to really look. That moment is this one right now. This is you stopping. This is you looking. There is a reason you are here right now, not scrolling past, not already gone here. With this, at this exact hour, that is not coincidence. That is not accident. That is a door opening from the other side. Stay close to what you feel in this moment before it fades the way the dream always does. Because this time it is not meant to fade. This time it is meant to land. You know what waiting feels like, not the kind with a clear end in sight, the other kind. The kind where you stopped asking when a long time ago, because asking started to feel like setting yourself up for another morning that looked exactly like the one before it. You made plans that did not move. You reached for things that shifted just before your hand arrived. You watched doors close, not slowly, right in front of you, as if timed, as if something decided, not yet, and meant it. There were moments you thought you finally understood the pattern. Moments where the pieces seemed to arrange themselves into something that made sense. And then they scattered again, and you sat with the scattered pieces and tried to figure out what you did wrong. You went back over every decision, every word, every choice made in good faith, looking for the mistake, the thing that explained why it kept not working. And maybe you found something, or maybe you found nothing at all. Just the same unanswered quiet you started with. That quiet has been heavy, some days heavier than others. There were mornings you woke up and the weight of it was the first thing you felt before anything else. Before the day even had a shape. Just the weight pressing down before you even had the words for it. There were also the days you almost convinced yourself you were fine with it. That the waiting had become comfortable enough, that you had made peace with the pace. But then something would remind you. A conversation that went a direction you did not expect. A moment of seeing someone else step into something you had been hoping for yourself. And the piece you had constructed would shift just slightly, and you would feel again underneath everything you had arranged to make it bearable, that this was not where you were supposed to still be. That something was taking too long. You have carried that without making too much noise about it. Without letting most people see the full size of it, you learned how to hold it in a way that did not show. How to answer fine and mostly mean it. How to keep moving even when the movement felt like it was going nowhere. That kind of endurance is not small. It is not nothing. It is seen. Every single day of it, every morning you chose to try again. Every quiet act of faith made when faith did not feel like it was paying off. All of it has been witnessed by something that does not miss a single detail. Something that has been watching not to judge, but to know, to hold the full picture of who you are across all of it. The good days and the ones that were harder to survive. And what that presence has seen in you, across all of it, is someone who does not quit, someone who keeps the door inside them open, even when every door around them has been shut. That matters more than you know. Right now, something in you recognizes this. Not as information as confirmation. If that recognition is sitting in your chest right now, if something in you went still when you heard the word waiting, like it finally had a name for what you have been carrying, then type it in the space below. Write these words: I feel you here. I am still waiting and I trust you. Let those words leave you and go somewhere. Not as a comment, as a prayer. As the quiet voice that has always been speaking inside you finally said out loud. Now here is where everything shifts. Here is the thing about the door that keeps closing. You have been reading it as rejection, as evidence that something is wrong, as the world's way of saying, not you. But that is not what a closed door means. Not always. Not when something larger is arranging the path. A door that closes before you walk through it is not always a door you were supposed to walk through. Sometimes it is a door that would have taken you somewhere you could not come back from easily, somewhere that looked right from the outside, but was built on ground that would not hold the weight of what you are carrying. Not every open door is meant for you, and something that loves you enough to protect you will close the wrong ones even when you wanted to walk through them. Even when you had already started planning what you would do on the other side. Even when it broke something in you to watch it close. The closing was not punishment, it was protection. Let that settle, because it changes everything. Every door that closed, every plan that did not survive contact with reality, every timing that was off by just enough to make the whole thing fall apart. None of it was abandonment. None of it was a verdict on your worth or your readiness. It was a redirection. Quiet, sometimes painful, always purposeful. Think about one of those doors. The one that hurt the most when it closed. Hold it in your mind for a moment. Now consider this. What if that closing was the most loving thing that could have happened? Not because the pain was not real, the pain was real, but because what was behind that door was not built to carry you forward, only to hold you in place. And you were always meant to move forward. What if the thing you mourned the loss of was never yours to begin with? Not because you were undeserving, because it belonged to a smaller version of your story. One that your life had already outgrown. The way a river outgrows a channel that once held it perfectly and has to find a wider path. Not because the old channel failed, because the river grew. That is what has been happening. You have been growing. And the doors that could not hold a river of your size closed. Naturally, appropriately, as they were always going to. There is something else too. Something that does not get said often enough. You were not ready. Not as an insult, as a fact. The version of you that would have walked through that door 2 years ago, or 5, or last spring, was not yet the version capable of holding what was waiting on the other side. Not because you were lacking, but because you were still being built, still being deepened. Still accumulating the kind of strength and understanding that only comes through seasons of waiting. The waiting was not the obstacle. The waiting was the preparation. Every closed door, every delayed answer, every quiet season where nothing visible seemed to move was adding to you, layer by layer. The way rings form inside a tree, invisible from the outside. But there, making the tree capable of standing in weather it could not have survived before. You are not who you were when the waiting started. You are not the same person who sat with those scattered pieces the first time. You have been changed by the enduring, shaped by it, made ready by it, in ways you will only fully understand once the season turns. And it is turning, not eventually. Now stay here. Do not move through this too quickly. This part matters. Because this space exists to carry these words to you exactly when you need them. Not before, not after. If these words have been reaching you, if something in this moment has felt less like content and more like something meant specifically for you, then stay connected to this space. Turn on alerts, not to follow a channel, but to follow a current. The current that brought you here today will bring you back again at the hour when the next message is ready for you. And that hour will be the right one. The same way this one was. Now go back to the dream, the door, the hallway, the light pressing through from the other side. You have been seeing that dream and waking up before you reach the door. Always stopping just short, and you have been frustrated by that, by the incompleteness of it, by never getting to see what is behind it. But consider this, you were never supposed to see what is behind it yet. The dream was not showing you a destination, it was showing you a direction. It was saying, keep walking this way, Keep moving toward this. What you feel when you see that light is not a memory. It is a preview. A message sent in the language of sleep, because sleep is the hour when the mind finally becomes quiet enough to hear. When the noise of the day lifts and something can get through that cannot get through when you are busy and defended, and full of the ordinary things that fill the waking hours. That is when it comes. That is when you are shown what is coming. Not all of it enough. Enough to keep you oriented, enough to make sure that when the door opens in your waking life, you will recognize it. You will not mistake it for something else. You will not hesitate. You will know, because you have seen it before in the dream, and every time the dream returned, it was not repetition. It was reinforcement, reminding you in the only hour you were quiet enough to receive it that the door is real, that the light is real, that the hallway you have been walking, even when you could not feel yourself moving, has a direction, and that direction has always been towards something, never away from it. Every closed door behind you was not a dead end. It was a corridor becoming narrower, focusing the path, eliminating the options that were never truly options for someone like you. Until what remained was the one hallway, the one direction, the one door, the one light, the same one you have been seeing in your sleep, in the feeling that will not let you dismiss this. In the moment you are sitting in right now, you have been seen, you have been guided. The delay was never a dead end, it was always a doorway. Now pause. Before this continues, something wants to be named. Something that has been true about you through all of it, through every season that did not deliver what you hoped, through every night that asked more of you than you thought you had to give. There were nights you cried without letting anyone see, not because you were ashamed, but because you had become the person others leaned on, and you did not want to shift that weight onto them, so you held it yourself, in the dark, and released it quietly, and then showed up the next morning as if the night had been ordinary. That was witnessed. Every single one of those nights. There were times you forgave people who never asked you to, not because forgiveness came easily, but because you understood somewhere deeper than thought, that holding it would cost you more than releasing it. That forgiveness was not for them, it was for the part of you that still needed to stay open. That was witnessed too. There were days you chose kindness when no one would have blamed you for choosing otherwise, when the circumstances justified a harder response and you chose soft anyway. Not because you were weak, but because you knew what hardness costs, and you were not willing to pay that price. There were moments you chose to believe in something you could not see, when every visible sign pointed away from hope, and you held on to it anyway. Quietly, without announcing it, without asking anyone to validate it, just held it inside yourself like something precious that required protecting. That required the kind of faith that does not need an audience. That faith was recorded, every act of it, because that is the kind of faith that changes things, not the kind performed for others to see, but the kind maintained in private, in the dark, in the quiet, when no one is watching, and the choice to believe is entirely your own. There were also the things you gave. Not money necessarily. Time, attention, presence. The particular resource of you, offered freely, often without recognition. Sometimes to people who took it without noticing, who moved on without a backward glance. And you did not close off because of that. You chose to stay open, to keep giving, to not let the ones who took without appreciation determine what you had to offer the ones who would receive it differently. That choice, made again and again in small ways, is also recorded. Every single act of it, every seed placed into ground you could not see, in soil deeper than circumstance, in the kind of earth that holds things carefully until the season is right for them to grow. That season is right now, not next year, not once things settle now, while you are sitting here, while these words are reaching you, while something inside you is going still with recognition. This is the moment the soil begins to move. This is where what was planted starts to press upward, not with force, but with the quiet inevitability of something that was always going to happen. Because the seed was always good, and the ground was always right, and the only thing required was time, and time has passed. If you feel this, if the word seed landed somewhere in you, if something about the image of all those quiet choices being held in the ground, waiting to grow, moved something in your chest, then say it. Type it out below. Write these words. I know this delay is not the end. I receive your protection. I am being prepared. Let that be your declaration, not to anyone reading it, to the one who already knows it is true, who has been waiting for you to know it too. Because something shifts when you name it. When the understanding moves from felt to spoken, from interior to expressed, something in the atmosphere changes, not metaphorically. Actually, the agreement you make in this moment carries weight. Real weight, the kind that opens things. There is a turn coming. You cannot see the exact shape of it yet. But it is close enough now that certain things are beginning to feel different. You may have noticed already, small things, a thought arriving with unusual clarity, a moment of unexpected peace in the middle of ordinary difficulty, a sense, arriving without explanation, that something is about to change. Those are not random, those are signals, the kind that arrive just before a season ends, just before the ground breaks open, just before the thing that has been building underground finally reaches the surface. Pay attention to those small signals. They are not wishful thinking. They are advance notice. The way a shift in wind announces rain that has not yet arrived. The way certain birds go quiet just before the weather changes. The way your body sometimes knows something before your mind catches up. That knowing in you right now, that quiet hum of something approaching, trusted. It is accurate. It has always been accurate. You have just been taught to distrust it. Taught that hope without evidence is foolishness. That the feeling of something coming is not data. That intuition is the last thing to rely on. But the dream came back, again and again, without evidence, without announcement, without anything to point to. And it was never wrong about the fact that something was pressing toward you, even when you could not see it yet. That same faculty that received the dream is receiving this now. And it is saying the same thing the dream has always said. Keep moving in this direction. The door is real, the light is real, and you are closer than you have ever been. A season that has served its purpose does not end with announcement. It ends the way dawn ends the night, quietly, without drama. One moment it is dark, and then the light is already changing, and you realize the shift happened before you noticed it. That is how this ends. Not with a dramatic reversal that announces itself with a quiet click. A door that opens, a weight that lifts without you realizing when exactly it left. A morning that feels different from every morning before it, and you will know. Not because someone tells you, because the dream will change. The door will open, the hallway will end, and the light you have been seeing from a distance for so long will be the light you are standing in. That morning is not as far as it feels right now. It is close enough that you are being prepared for it. This message is part of that preparation. The fact that you are here, that you are still watching, that something in you said, this one, stay with this one, that is not small. That is your soul recognizing something your mind has not fully caught up to yet. Your soul knows before your mind does. It always has. It knew before the dream started. It knows now. Trust what it is telling you. Now pause just one moment. Tap the light beneath this. Not as engagement, as agreement. As the small physical act of saying, yes, I receive this. And then think of 3 people. The ones who came to mind before you even finished reading that sentence. They are in a waiting season too. They may not have the words for it. They may not even know that is what it is. But something in them will recognize this. The way you did. Send it to them, pass this forward. Not as a video, as an extension of what reached you today. Because what is meant for you often arrives through you to someone else. And the passing of it is part of its purpose. There are those who have walked the path you are walking now. Who sat in the same kind of waiting, who felt the same weight without the same language for it, and who found in a space closer than this one, the company that made the season bearable. Not just bearable, meaningful. There is a gathering kept close, near Archangel Michael, near the place where guidance arrives before the question is fully formed. Where the people inside are not gathered by algorithm or chance. They were led there one by one through moments like this one. Through a message that arrived at exactly the right time and felt unmistakably like it was for them. If you are feeling that now, if something in you is saying this belongs to you, then what waits in that space is the next layer of what began here. Not a destination, a continuation. The company of people who understand that the waiting is not wasted. Who have stopped asking when and started asking what is being built in me right now. Who have found that the question changes everything. Because everything looks different when the waiting becomes preparation, when the closed door becomes protection, when the long quiet becomes the season in which you were being deepened. The people in that space have found what it means to be held through the weight. Not pushed through it, held. With guidance that speaks to the specific shape of the season you are in. With truth that arrives before you even know what question to ask. With the closeness of something holy that does not require silence to be felt. Only attention. Only the willingness to remain. You can find the way to that space in the description below and in the pinned comment. What waits there is not noise. It is the next part of this conversation carried further than any single message can take it. If contributing feels right, there is a way to offer something small. The way you might set a candle burning in a quiet place. Not required, never required, but meaningful when it comes from the right place. From gratitude, from recognition, from the quiet sense that something valuable reached you today, and you want to honor that. Do not leave yet. Stay through the end of this. Because what comes next ties every thread, every piece of the dream, every closed door, every quiet season, every night you held something heavy in the dark, every seed placed into ground you could not see. All of it has been moving toward a single point, and that point is not in the future. It is here, in this understanding, in the shift that has already happened inside you. Whether you felt it land all at once, or whether it arrived in pieces throughout this, something has changed. The way you hold the waiting has changed. The meaning you give the delay has changed. The story you tell yourself about the closed doors, the long quiet, the plans that scattered it has all changed, because you now know what it was for. Not suffering without purpose, preparation without limit. Not punishment without reason, protection without condition. Not abandonment dressed as silence, a love so specific, it arranged even the disappointments, to keep you moving toward what was always meant for you. And what was always meant for you is not behind you. It is not in the past where the doors closed. It is not in the seasons you endured. It is in front. It is close. It is pressing toward you the way light presses through a door. The way it has been pressing through in the dream all this time, showing you, preparing you, keeping you oriented toward the right direction. Even when you could not see the path, even when the hallway felt like it would never end, even when the waiting made you wonder if the door was real at all. It was always real. You were always moving toward it. And now the dream that kept returning with the same image, the same door, the same light is delivering its final message. Not to comfort you, to confirm something you have carried quietly for a long time, that you were not forgotten, that the delay had a design, that the one who arranged it knew exactly what they were doing, and knew exactly who you were, and loved you too specifically to give you something that would not hold. So they waited. They waited until you were built for it. Until the version of you sitting in this moment was the version capable of receiving it fully and holding it properly and knowing what it is worth. Because there are things given too early that cannot be appreciated, that slip through hands not yet strong enough to hold them. And there are things given at exactly the right time that land differently, that are received with the full weight of having waited, of having endured the season, of knowing what the absence of it felt like. That is what is coming for you. Not something easily dismissed, something received with everything you have. Because everything you have has been shaped exactly for this. You are ready now, not almost, not soon now. The version of you that sits here in this moment, having endured what you have endured, having carried what you have carried, having stayed open when closing would have been easier, is the version capable of walking through what is coming, and holding it, and building with it, and becoming fully what you were always designed to be. The door in the dream is not a mystery anymore. It is a promise being kept right now. In real time on the other side of this season, say it. Let it go into the space below. Let it be the last thing you place here today. I am ready, amen.